Stories with AJ, episode 3, entry from my child journal. And this one's actually not wrote from me, it's actually wrote from my grandmother, and I'll get into that. But just a side note here, I'm coming off of a life high. I was just at a concert for the benefit for Dayton, Ohio, and it had some of my favorite bands such as Saves the Day. The lead singer Chris was there, and lead singer and Jeff from Thursday, and Anthony from Bayside. So I got to meet Chris and Jeff after the show, and Vinny from I Am the Avalanche. So it's just very exciting, and I'm still kind of shaking from that. But I'm gonna get right into it here. I'm in Dayton, Ohio, downtown. It's a nice town, and the first entry goes, from 8/25/1994, it was a Thursday. Hi, Anthony. I saw your book on the floor, and I thought I would write to you. Just think, school will start in 3 days, then you'll have a lot to write about in your diary. All the good things, and even sometimes some things that go wrong during the day. I hope there'll be more good than bad to write about, but I know you will do great in the 3rd grade. You are a smart young man. I am very proud of you. I love you, Grandma. So a little bit about my life, of course, there. August 25th, 1994, that was a long time ago. And that's okay, though. So at the time, I was coming into 3rd grade. I was going to McGregor Elementary in Bay City, Michigan there. And what was exciting about that is I was going to that elementary from kindergarten to 3rd, so I was kind of, just kind of becoming who I was. I had some friends there, and I was kind of establishing my roots. I was, figuring out who I was, learning that I was very creative, that I liked writing, I liked arts, I liked writing poetry. I had little guys that I would draw, and so there was always a lot to do and talk about. So going to 3rd grade, it was very exciting. I was just starting to become confident in who I was, and I think good portion of that is because of my mentor, right? And mentors. But nonetheless, that summer, my parents did a lot of traveling too. I think they went to Vegas a couple times, or maybe once, I don't know. But as they did their travels, Crystal and I, that's my sister, we went to Grandma's house, Grandma Audrey's house, Grandma and Pop's. And on the weekends, we'd spend the weekends there. I'd get to play basketball outside, or we'd have snacks, eat ice cream, eat pizza. Of course, Grandma and Grandpa will, of course, spoil you, and I think that's just the way that it goes. And, there's lots of lessons there, lots of love lessons, lots of hard lessons. And Grandma was all about making sure that you knew everything about life. That there is good and there's also bad. And she wrote it there, which, reading this again, stuck out. There's plenty to write about, all the good things, and even sometimes some things that go wrong. She understands that the world out there exists, and not everything is honky-dory, and that's okay. And so it's good for me to document. So at that time, I didn't know what was going to be ahead of me, and I didn't know what was going to be ahead in 1994, so 2004, 2014, no idea. And that's what's great is think about tonight. I had such an exciting time, such a great time. I got to meet great people, I got to see great singers, and I got to meet a couple of new friends at the concert. But that's because I had confidence. I had people to believe in me, and my family was very strong that way, and I will forever appreciate them. And what's cool about that too is she would take us to church and grow our spiritual strength as well. She would take us to the mall to go shopping to get, maybe a new t-shirt or maybe a new pair of shoes. She used to buy me a new pair of skate shoes every summer, but that's further along in life. And just spend time. Even 4th of July, I remember Grandma bringing us down to the 4th of July. We have a river walk in Bay City. For those that don't understand Bay City, it's kind of divided into 2 cities. There's a Saginaw River that runs between it. You got the east side and the west side. And every year on the 4th of July, we have 3 days of fireworks. And it's very exciting because we're the only nation, I believe, that has 3 nights of fireworks. And you can go down to the river. We used to have this red wagon. We would walk past the Whiskey's and Party Store, go all the way down there. We'd sit on the riverwalk and on the pier, and we'd watch those fireworks. And it was just always a nice time. So there's always an adventure. And I think that's maybe where I get my sense today is there's always an adventure. There's never a reason to be bored. There's never a reason to just sit there and say that, man, I wish something would happen, because at the end of the day, you've got to make something happen, and that's where it instilled from. So sometimes we make mistakes like leaving our journal around, but you get left notes, and I think that's always exciting. And sometimes you get reminded that that's okay too, because good things come from those events. You know, everything happens for a reason. I'm a firm believer in that. So that's what I have for you today. Maybe episode 3 is a little shorter, but again, it's kind of late at night. It's like midnight, and I'm in a park in downtown, and I think I'd rather just go back and kind of wind down for the night, and just be able to fall asleep maybe sometime tonight. We'll see if I'll ever calm down. But again, I appreciate you listening, and it's very fun for me to give these stories and talk about the writings and talk about what was going on in my life, and this is just great. So thank you for sharing with me. So always remember to do great things,